This video here is to share what Jen and I are currently doing to interact with parents with teacher-led distance learning. It's not perfect, it's still evolving. It's working for us though right now, and the feedback we're getting is it's working for parents. Now, our class usually uses Seesaw to communicate, something we feel very comfortable with and the parents enjoy, but we weren't confident in our abilities to use Seesaw to do all the things that we wanted to do with the teacher-led distance learning. So we had to go and look for another platform, and we landed on Google Sites. Now we chose Google Sites for a couple of reasons. One, it was really easy to set up. It was easy to make it a landing pad for the learning and information that we wanted to highlight. And it was also very easy for parents to understand because it's a web page and they're familiar with interacting with a web page. Let me just do a really quick tour of the page the way it looks now. We have the splash page, which we just have a general message, video just explaining what's going on. And then we created a page for Busy Minds, and we dropped in here some sites that parents might want to visit and see some resources. We didn't want to overwhelm them with a huge list of things, so we really tried to curate just a few items that would have been useful to balance things out. Busy Minds, Busy Bodies. We also have some interesting things parents can go to visit for busy bodies, busy artists. But the page that gets the most work is the weekly work. So the weekly work page acts as a bit of a template for what we present each week. This week was a little different. We had a guest join us here, so we presented Melanie Crow. And the template part, though, we have a marvelous math prompt with some math prompts. We have a lovely language prompt section. There's our language section, wonderful learning prompt, things that don't fit in the language or math. And then we usually will have a message from me, a message from Miss Foley, and a Friday field trip. I'm going to give you a sneak peek in how easy it is to use Google Sites. What I'm going to do is go into the back end of it. So this is what you see when you're creating. On the right hand side, there's a panel that gives you all the tools you need to create a page. And because my weekly work, what I do is use that weekly work page as a template. When I click on this pages, I just go in to one of my weekly work pages, use those three dots on the side and say duplicate page and then make changes. But what I'm going to do for you is just show you how easy it is to make a page. So I'm on, there's insert pages and themes. So I'm on the pages, I come down, hit the plus. It says what's the name of the page. I'm going to say new page and then say done, and you've created a page. And so what I can do is I can easily go in here and say new title, give it a new title, and then I go over to the right hand side and use insert, and there's lots of choices of things I can do. I want to create a text box, so it pops in a text box. Now because Google Sites is part of the Google suite of products, it's all connected to things like Google Drive. So I go over to my Google Drive, and Jen and I had done some planning, and we've got a document here which is our marvelous math prompts for the week. What I can do is I can highlight it, I can copy it, go back to the Google Sites, and in that text box, just paste it. And then once that's all in there, I can do things like normal word processing, make things bold. If I grab the handles, I can resize things. If I go over to the right-hand side again, I can drop in things like embed. So I want an URL. And Jen had done a really nice video. So what I can do is I can go in and go to Jen's video that she sent me. So I can copy that, go back to Growing Minds. I can say insert, and I now have her video, and I can just pick it up and I can drag it to where I want to make it look nice. So I'm going to say it goes here, grab those handles, move it, decide how I want it to look. So there's lots of things you can do here. It really is drag and drop, copy and paste. The big thing that you need to do is this publish button. So after you've done all your hard work and you've got it to look the way you like it, what you have to do is you say publish, and then once you hit the publish, that page is now live. So nice and easy. What I would say is play around with it. You can't break anything. It's easy to do. See what you can do. There's lots of YouTube videos out there showing what you can do as well. What also is nice about Google Sites is up here, this preview button. When I click preview, that's what it will look like on someone's computer. But what Jen and I have found is a lot of parents are accessing the content not on a computer but on a phone. So they give you a choice to see what it would look like on a phone, what it would look like on a tablet. Now, because parents are using phones and tablets, what we have also found is we are emailing the content to parents. So on Sunday night, Monday morning, we send an email with the prompts for math, language, and other, and even include a PDF version of that so that if they wanted to, they can print it out and have it stuck on a fridge. But we also are finding that most of the families don't have printers either. So most of them are accessing the content through phone. And so having a very stripped down, easy version of the prompts helps as well. Now, Jen and I really like Google Sites for the ease of putting out information. But what it was lacking was a back and forth element. And we tried Padlet as a way of doing that, but that wasn't really robust enough. So we found we still needed Google Classroom as a space for people to submit work and for a space for us to comment back and forth with the students. So what you'll see in Google Sites is there are spots where students can click and there's a link, and then that sends them into Google Classroom.
When Rod and I are planning our weekly learning prompts, we do try and keep the 4 frames in mind. Our main focus has been the DLMB frame. We offer our weekly learning prompts that do have the lens of language and math development. We try to ensure that these prompts are open-ended, that they can be easily integrated into a family's daily life, and the families don't need any specific materials. They don't need to go out and buy something. It should be materials that are readily available in their own homes. So even though our main focus has been the DLMB frame, we haven't forgotten about the other frames and how they are all interconnected with each other. If we look at our students as a whole child and where their needs are right now, their needs definitely lean heavily into the belonging and contributing and self-reg and well-being frames. So keeping that in mind, one important factor for us to consider was keeping the students connected, keeping them connected with each other, keeping them connected with us. One way Rod and I do that is we both post recordings of ourselves. We read to the students. I know Rod did a science experiment. We pose inquiry questions to try and keep connected with our students. And we encourage the students to share their work with us as a way so that they can stay connected with each other and stay connected with us. Rod and I both comment on all the work that is being submitted. There is some back and forth conversations with some students where we're able to stretch their thinking, ask them if there was any problems that they had to solve along the way, which of course dives into our PSI frame. We continue to look for these teachable moments in the students' learning that we can explore, question, expand, and share with our classroom community.
So that's what Jen and I are doing currently for teacher-led distance learning. If you wanted to talk more, you can always get a hold of us and we can talk. The other sharing space that I just want to highlight is in Edsby. Teresa has her kindergarten group that she leads, but there's also this kindergarten learning together group where teachers can share ideas. Well worth a visit.